Welcome to our podcast series Inside the Union that is created by our team through our Erasmus project ISOUR Superpower. Today we will invite you to our journey to Europe's dark chapters. Over this episode we will dive into the dark reality of femicides in Europe by narrating the most disturbing cases that have rocked nations and communities. From the picturesque landscapes of Czech Republic to the vibrant streets of Spain, we will navigate through 5 countries by showing the gender-based violence. We will start with Spain, a country known for its rich culture and tradition. We will confront the uncomfortable truths surrounding the biggest femicide and challenges of addressing it. Turning to Romania, we will uncover the layers of the complexity surrounding femicides in this Eastern European country. Now, in the heart of Europe, Czech Republic, it has faced its share of femicides, with one particular case leaving a lasting mark on the nation's consciousness. Moving on to Poland, femicides interest with border debates over women's rights and ideologies. And finally, we will journey to the sunny roads of Greece. We will reveal the darkness behind the reality by narrating a story that kept the media and the authorities searching. Throughout our exploration, we will try to raise awareness about human rights, about gender equality, and women empowerment. So, join us as we embark on this crucial journey of awareness, advocacy and solidarity, as we strive to shine a light on the shadows that often go unnoticed. We are inside the Union, so grab a seat and let's try to change the world together. Let's start by saying that femicide is not just a woman's issue, right? It is a human rights issue that demands urgent attention and action from all the members of the society. But before starting, it's really important to give a definition of femicide. So the European Institute for Gender Equality defines the femicide as killing of women and girls because of their gender, which can actually take some forms of, for example, partner violence, misogynist, killing in the name of honor, armed conflict, dowry-relating killings, sexual orientation killings, trafficking killings, and many, many more. So the same institute, the European Institute for Gender Equality, actually they did their research and they launched a survey at 2020, but the official results are not going to be published until the late of 2024. But we have searched for some statistics and they have been published in 2022 after the pandemic. So globally, at 2022, there have been 48,800 killings of women and girls. And they were killed actually by their boyfriends or their husbands, while the 55% were from previous relationships. It is also very important to underline that Europe has the 3rd place after Africa and Asia. So Bogdan, you're next to me. Hello Bogdan.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Why do you believe that this is happening and why do you believe that Europe is in the 3rd place?
Well, probably it has to do something with the diversity of the cultures in Europe, and probably it has to do also with the diversity of religions in Europe. So it is probably one of the most important factors. We all know that Europe is a diverse continent with a lot of cultures and with a lot of issues, let's say, related to this diversity of cultures, and probably this is one of the most important reasons.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm gonna talk about my own country, which is Greece, and specifically Greece has the first place, especially after the isolation that was caused due to the pandemic, and the number of the femicides were actually tripled. So Bogdan, why do you believe that domestic violence has increased that much throughout the pandemic?
Well, the pandemic was a difficult time, and during the pandemic we know that unemployment rates went high. Many of the businesses were closed during this time, so probably because people were, kept in place in their homes, locked down, they had their habits changed or forcibly closed. So probably this is one of the factors, like people were sitting in their homes, maybe unemployed, with little to do, with little activities to do, and probably this is one of the reasons that made these rates go really high.
Mm-hmm. And I have one more question. Why do you believe that femicides happen? We already talked about all the domestic violence, especially that was caused after the isolation, but why is this happening, and it's still happening till today?
Well, I think, like I said, it's a problem of culture and of heritage, basically, and probably we still live in a society which is a bit more misogynistic or male-centered, let's say, and probably this is one of the reasons that started these issues.
Yeah, I can hear what you say, and as a woman, I can say, like, from my personal experience, that I have felt discriminated before. For example, when I first got my car and I just bought it, a middle-aged man, hit me, and it was completely his fault because he was on the wrong side of the road, and he literally bumped on me, but he was shouting and he was screaming that, oh no, of course I'm right, and I am a man, and I have so many years of experience, while you are a little blonde girl. So that hit me. Now we can start actually our journey to the darkest femicides of our countries. So I'm gonna call my friends here. I'm gonna call first Jimena. Hello, Jimena.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine.
So what is the darkest femicide that has happened ever in Spain?
It was the Alcácer girls. It was about 3 teenagers between 14 and 15 years that were raped and murdered violently while they were doing hiking to get to a club. After a long search, closely by the media, their bodies were found 70 days later in a zone of difficult access. The police accused 2 common Spanish criminals in their 20s of the crimes. The controversial trial of the 2 arrested suspects became a prime-time showcase, featuring gruesome pictures of the teenagers' corpses, preceded by standard warnings to view audiences. One of them was caught and judged to 170 years of prison, of which he only served 21 until he was put into liberty. The other one ran away and still is being searched by the police. The fathers of the girls did not accept this version, and they supported a conspiracy theory that believed that the official authors of the crime had been politicians. The story caused such an impact that even 30 years later, Netflix released a documentary about it.
As a woman, how do you feel about it?
I think it's a really sad story, and it actually makes me scared because, it could happen to any of us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So let's move on. I'm gonna call now my friend Teresa. Hello Teresa, how are you?
Hello, nice, thank you.
So Teresa, can you explain to us the biggest femicide that has ever happened in Czech Republic?
Okay, I can try. So there was a guy called Ladislav Hoyer, and he is known as a Czech serial killer, committed a brutal series of murders in 1966, including the rape, torture, and cannibalism of 4 women. He was eventually caught, he was sentenced to death, later it was changed to life imprisonment. His case shocked Czech society and became one of the biggest crimes in Czech criminal history. In 1981, in Brno, he committed his most brutal murder. After arriving by train from Prague, he attacked an 18-year-old girl at a tram stop. Falling to rape her, he fatally stabbed her, then he mutilated her body, cutting off her breasts and genitals, which he stored in a plastic bag, and then he transported the body parts back to Prague, where he kept them in his fridge and for several days before consuming them. So Hoyer's aggression extended beyond sexual crimes, and experts conclude that neither castration nor brain surgery would have curbed his violence.
Do you feel safe using the public transportation?
Well, now sometimes it's it's hard to take a bus or a tram in the midnight for me, but I have some things on my pockets which I can use. Sometimes in Czech Republic you cannot use them, but well, it could be better.
Yeah, it's really essential to protect ourselves when we feel the fear. Thank you so much, Teresa. Bogdan, what is the most popular famous salad in Romania?
Well, in Romania, there was in the 70s a guy called Ioan Romaru, which is also called the Vampire of Bucharest or the Blonde Killer. During the 70 and 71, he committed 4 gruesome murders, and also he had also other 10 assaults against women. Police had to make 2,500 arrests until they managed to get him in custody. The murders were really gruesome, he tortured the girls, he then killed them, and then he raped them, and then shortly after the trial he was executed. But he still remains the most famous criminal in Romanian history, basically.
Thank you so much, Bogdan. And now I'm going to call Victoria. Hello, Victoria.
Hi everyone, I'm from Poland and my name is Victoria, and it is a story about serial killer. The vampire from Bytov, raped and murdered. He killed almost 70 people. He fell in by accident. He confessed to kill 67 people. They tried to prove 17 crimes against him. Ultimately, he was imprisoned for committing 1 murder. How it is possible? Who is Leszek Pękalski, known as the vampire from Bytov? Leszek Pękalski has always said, "I'm turned by all women." Then he added, "Men and children too. Gender, age and appearance didn't matter. He wanted to have sex with literally everyone. It didn't matter where, because the desire hit him suddenly and he couldn't control it. He felt like he had to satisfy himself immediately. He couldn't control his wild sexual desire. Whenever a woman was nearby, he would shake with excitement and emotion. Paradoxically, his biggest dream since childhood was to start family. However, he often explained that yes, he wanted a wife, but not necessarily a child. He kept asking everyone around him how to find the woman of his life and what to do to make her appear here and now. Poland first heard about Pękalski in the early 1990s. It was then in June 1991, in the forest between the town of Jezierze and Darżykowo, that a man raped and murdered teenage Sylvia. A 70-year-old girl won't help her customers. They spent a lot of time together, harmed by the teenager's beauty and the fact she showed interest in him, Leszek proposed sex and marriage to her. The surprised girl laughed at him and felt that it was the perfect moment to end the relationship. As soon as she turned her back on him, attacked her. He couldn't stand reflection. He killed her and then repeat her. He could feel unpunished because no one found Leszek. Leszek was arrested accidentally. He was followed by a secretary working at the police station. She realized that man fit the description and the meaning portrait. Judgment: 25 years in prison. His sentences ended on December 2017. He was not released. There was still a real fear that he might be dangerous to society. He was sent to a closer facility, National Center for the Prevention or Antisocial Behavior in Gostyń. And it's my words, so it's really sad that when you want help, you may face a mortal threat, so we should focus on decreasing physical psychopathic behavior.
Thank you so much, Victoria. Last but not least, I'm gonna call Konstantinos from Greece. Hello, Konstantine. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Can you please tell us what was the darkest femicide in Greece?
Yes, of course. The Greek case is about Caroline Crouch, a young woman who was killed 3 years ago. To be more specific, Caroline was found dead on her bed by police officers after a phone call made by her husband. He was found tied and gagged beside the bed, and in the same room, the couple's daughter was found. According to the husband's initial statements, a few hours after midnight, 3 hooded armed robbers entered the couple's residence and killed the family dog. After that, they went up to the couple's bedroom and demanded their money at gunpoint. The husband indicated the place with money, but Caroline fought back when the robbers pointed a gun at her baby. The leader of the robbers managed to immobilize her and then kill her by suffocating her. The case was taken over immediately by the Hellenic police. A reward of 300,000 euros was offered for information leading to the capture of the robbers. Some people were arrested during the first days of the investigation. However, no evidence connected them with the crime was found. Besides that, no fingerprints nor DNA traces from the perpetrators were found. The security cameras that were present in nearby houses didn't show anything. From the analysis of the digital evidence of both the victim and her husband, it was found that there were significant discrepancies in husband's initial statements. And after a long testimony to the General Police Directorate of Attica, and with the announcement of the findings, the husband confessed that he murdered his wife because of frequent frictions. He had tried to get away with the murder by claiming the crime was a robbery. The husband was sentenced to life imprisonment for having committed the murder in a calm state of mind, for animal abuse, for false reporting, and of course for false testimony to the prosecuting authorities. The victim's family won custody of the couple's daughter, the baby. That's it.
Konstantin, actually, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Like, we know that the life sentence is not really accurate. We know that this doesn't happen. We know that these people, at some point, they're going to be released. So, how do you feel about that?
I think that maybe it's a bit unfair for victims' families, for example, who stay back and they're mourning for their relatives. Life imprisonment should be really life imprisonment. That's it.
As we understand, femicides are something that really happens still today. And actually, it's against the human rights because one of the most essential human right is the right to live. But how can we really feel safe when there are people taking away this right from us? Like, if you ask me, I have experienced like a violent, let's say, episode, and it really got me scared because it happened next to my house. But what I really want to say before closing this episode is that I was saved by a person who really heard me screaming. And what I want to say is that it's really important to help each other and to raise our voices. For example, we should find the strength to ask for help, to exit from toxic relationships, to ask for aid, and we should try to change the world and to not close our eyes and our ears, but really ask for help. So, this was today's episode. We are the Inside the Union, and thank you for listening to us. Till the next episode. Goodbye.